CP.
Are you serious? He's gone. 40, 30, Portis all the way. Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards.
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp. You know, he'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion too.
You know, I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say. And, you know, for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 Minutes, episode 30. I'm in studio with my lovely co-host, Monica McNutt, who's all over the TV, covering all of this basketball magic. I can't believe I'm going to lose you on the show.
I'm still here, though.
I'm
here.
I can see you grow. It's a good thing, but we got a lot to talk about. So, and we're going to get right into it. Owners meeting going on out in Arizona. Devontae, shout out. Our other co-host, Jake, he's out as well. Owners meeting going on, and owners take a picture. I mean, the coaches take a picture, right? The coaches take a picture, and you have 3 black coaches in the NFL.
I didn't expect you to go there. Now let me stop laughing. I'm listening.
3 African-American coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean, the article was talking about diversifying coaching and how every team, you know, with the rule in place that you have to interview, how every team interviews a coach, but only 3 coaches.
Would you eliminate the Rooney Rule?
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't eliminate the Rooney Rule because you have coaches in waiting. You know, you think of the Cowboys, the coordinator, or the Chiefs offensive coordinator. So you got coaches that's kind of like on the verge of getting there, but still, when you think of the players and how many coaches you have, even if it was 33%, you know, like if you could say, well, it's 33% or it's 40%, that's great. But when you're talking about like less than 15%, like that's crazy.
Is it a problem that you think the league needs to be looking at, or is it a symptom of larger societal makeup?
I think it's societal makeup because you have great coaches. You have great coaches. It doesn't matter. If you can coach, you can coach.
Period.
Right? Like you just need to be able to guide young men. You have to be able to relate. That doesn't need a skin color. Anyone can do it if you can relate. I mean, if you go in neighborhoods, you see people that relate to kids and understand kids or kids go to in neighborhoods throughout. So it's just having that gift of leading men. But it's crazy to see that picture, to look at that picture. That was, I mean, the NFL put that picture out and had an article on it. So it's not like I'm just digging for something. The NFL put that picture out and it was saying, do we have enough? And Mike Tomlin wasn't in the picture, and it just makes you think. Like when you go back to all the coaches that get that opportunity, you know, you look at Bowles being fired and instantly going to a D coordinator for Tampa Bay. You know, just all of a sudden it goes to coordinators because you have a lot of coordinators. You know,
it's interesting to me to have this conversation when you look at football, particularly compared to basketball, because I always go to college football. And I'm thinking, off the top of my head, I can't think of a black college football coach in Power 5. Herm, I guess, that's Pac-12.
Well, Herm, you got the coach at South Florida. You got the coach
who came
at
from
Florida
Taggart.
State. Yeah, you got Willie Taggart at Florida State. South Florida got Texas old coach.
Got you. Okay. Oh, yeah. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I can see his face.
Charlie Strong. So you have some coaches in Power 5.
But is it, so that's what I'm saying, though. When you look at football, it's just kind of, is that a tougher leadership position to get? Like, is the pipeline, is the boys network, like, what is it?
I think it's the network. I think it's the buddy, because all of these coaches didn't have, like, when you look around the NFL, these coaches aren't coming from college to the NFL. Like, all of a sudden they develop a track record. It's, they had some success at coordinator or quarterback, and all of a sudden you're giving them the reins as a head coach. But we'll get more into that right now.
I definitely thought you were about to
Redskins-
talk about the way Jay looked in that picture.
Oh yeah, he was looking. Yeah, Jay was looking so crazy in that picture. It's just to get to the skin. So when we're under review at the owners' meeting, they're looking at reviewable incidents in pass interference, roughing the passer, illegal hits. Do you think these should be reviewable?
So yes would be my first answer, but I also think
You don't think it's gonna slow the game down?
No, so this is the thing I was about to say, because I get so irritated in basketball. Then there has to be a review clock if y'all gonna make it reviewable. But I also think more emphasis needs to be put on training officials so that they don't have to be reviewed, right? Like I would hate to be an official like, oh, I made that call, they'll get it straight.
You know what I think they should do? I think they should have someone that's watching the game from TV, not even in the atmosphere, that's like in the control center that's watching the game that they should call. Like
On
you
site.
make this call on site.
Okay.
Make it quick, 30 seconds, a minute, and it's to it. I was watching, you said it in basketball. There was 11 seconds left in basketball game, and it probably took 20 minutes because of reviewing and the cuffing rule they had to review. They had to go back and change the time on the clock. They got to go back and see who the foul was on. I'm thinking like it's 11 seconds. You're sitting here on edge and like caught up in the game, and they stop it for like 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
All of these reviews, I think you're trying to make the game perfect, and that's in all aspects, football, basketball. You're trying to make the game perfect, and you want the involvement of fans. So there, but like in a stadium, if you're in a basketball arena and it's rocking and it's going crazy, and your team is on this wonderful comeback and all the fans are cheering, and now you ice them.
It's deflating completely.
What? Chill out.
Okay,
Chill out for a little
so
while.
are you against reviewing it? Like obviously the emphasis for all this is the Saints in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, the Saints is definitely. So being a Saints fan, I would say I wish that call was reviewable. But when you think about sports in its entirety, like for some of the illegal hits, right? I see illegal hits, and I'm like, that's not an illegal hit. That's a clean hit. What do you want him to do? If the receiver changes his positioning, as most tacklers have their eyes closed when they're running to make contact. So if I've already launched through the air and the receiver changed his positioning, how could that be an illegal hit on me? Like he changed his body. So that will always be illegal hit, so. But so often those calls are missed. Like you have all these reviewable plays, and you still miss the call. That's not doing you any good.
Right. I think the other thing on the illegal hit part is you want something to happen immediately on spot, because a lot of times it gets reviewed and guys get fined afterward anyway.
And then guys get punished for the following week.
Right.
You get kicked out of this game, and then you got to miss the first half of next game. That makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like in the NFL where I don't think it makes sense that guys get fined more than they're making. Like you fine a guy for one game for an incident, one play out of one game, and it was more than his entire game check.
Make a statement.
I think that's
It's trash,
crazy.
but it makes a statement.
When we come back, we're going to delve into the Redskins, their draft needs. You still got some guys, free agents, some spots to fill. Draft 1 month away. Right now, take it away, Monica.
Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at kochindustries.com.
Great job, as usual. Welcome back to 26 Minutes. We get an opportunity to look into draft needs. Draft being under a month away. Redskins made some off-season moves, had some contributions, added some players. Now you get into the draft needs, and this is what everyone is focused on. You're a month out. Like everyone is excited. Who's going to be here? Who's going to be there? Last week on the show, I said LSU linebacker, and all of a sudden, this week, the updated draft stock come out, and he's going at number 4 to the Oakland Raiders. So he shouldn't be available, especially with the way the new draft come out. But some guys that still are available, guys that we talked about last week, when you look about the secondary, cornerback, safety position, you still have Greedy Williams. You still have Taylor Rapp, the safety out of Washington. Nadir Adderley from Delaware. I think it would be great to add. It's crazy that I just said that, from Delaware, because I'm huge on the SEC and playmaking guys. You got, the safety from Mississippi State. You got some more guys.
Oh yeah, you
that
totally just contradicted yourself. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, but it's crazy because I actually think when you look at Adderley, he's one of those guys that's going to come into the league and be like, kid, you just had Mac out of Buffalo. You get some guys that can just play football that was overlooked. So you look at the top 5 picks over the past 10 years, you always find a guy out of a school, and you're like, who is that? Even quarterback position, you're like, who is that guy? But if he can play, he can play. I think he's going to be one of those guys that could actually step onto the field and play for a long time. Based
on his basketball, his football IQ, his skill set.
Based on how hard it is to make it.
So let's just dig into Nasir just a little bit, because he's not from your SEC, not the conference, region in the nation. He's from Philadelphia, 6'0", defensive back, obviously. He's a 4-year player at Delaware for the Blue Hens. We know that's the CAA. So I was hoping that maybe he was from like Mississippi or something on the low. His career stats, he started and played in all 33 games, 178 tackles, 117 solo.
That's what you need. You need someone who's been, like you said, he started and played in 33 games. He doesn't have an injury history. He's not one of those guys who's not on the field. He's available. And then that style of football, I just think he will translate. Like, he's going to go overlooked and then all of a sudden make a huge impact. And people are going to be like, oh, well, we could have drafted him. But because he's not a big name, because he's not on the boards, when you look at his track record, you say, oh, you know what? He's a pretty decent player.
Are you at all concerned that the CAA is not only a collegiate level down, but also conference levels down from what he would be facing in the NFL?
I'm not. Like, you have guys that do it all the time. You have guys on this roster right now. You think of Josh Norman. Josh Norman wasn't heavily recruited. He's not a guy that came out of a SEC school or a Power 5 school. So when you look at guys on rosters, you say some guys can just play. Even, I'm a huge fan of Greedy Williams out of LSU due to his speed, due to the upside and everything he can bring to the table. I think you need speed. You need overall team speed. So I'm a huge fan. But just giving a guy his credit, I think that kid can play.
You're taking one of these guys at 15? So you're going.
Oh, I would definitely take Greedy Williams at 15.
So this is your priority. Like, if you're calling the shots for this team and undrafted.
Yeah, if Greedy Williams is available, or DK Metcalf. So DK Metcalf should possibly be available as well. Then you have that. Like, do I take Metcalf? Do I take Williams? If Metcalf go on to be Julio Jones, you're going to regret not taking him. But at the same time, Greedy Williams could play forever as well. So
if you had to pin it down on what tips a hand for a general manager in terms of a kid's potential, the upside, like if you had to choose between Greedy Williams or DK Metcalf, obviously not the same position, but like what would be something that would cause you to lean toward one versus the other, whether it's a tangible skill or something they would say in an interview?
Well, where that kid is, because I don't think this is an organization that develops players. Like, players don't come here and get better all of a sudden. They are who they are. And with that, like, knowing that's how this organization is, I'm going to take the player that's already where I need him to be, because you don't have a developmental phase here. So I would go with Greedy Williams because he's proven he could play. Okay. And for what you have, like, Greedy Williams comes in instantly ready, whereas you get Metcalf here with, Josh Doxson kind of regressed to me in my eyes. Thinking of Josh Doxson at TCU, I was a huge fan, loved his playmaking ability. when you look at Jamison Crowder, at Duke, how special he was in the slot, his early years here, how special he was. Now he gets an opportunity to go to the Jets. But just in the development of players, I don't think DK Metcalf come here and all of a sudden you have someone who elevates his game till he turns to Julio Jones or A.J. Green.
Okay. I can appreciate that because you definitely – at the end of the day, you're rooting for these guys to be successful, period. So.
Speaking of successful, a guy who's been very successful decided to go out on top. Gronk announced his retirement this week, and first thing you said is that this 1 year?
Is this going to be the new thing?
Is this a one and I come back because I'm bored? I think it will be because Drew came out and said, let's not rule out his return instantly, and especially for everyone's reaction, I think you need that break, And if Le'Veon comes back and have success, if Witten comes back and have success, we see it here on our team with DRC coming back after he announced his retirement. Sometimes you just need your body. Like when I retired, probably a year or two after retirement, when I finally realized how my body is supposed to feel, and you start feeling normal, like, oh, I'm not supposed to be in pain. I'm not supposed to feel this way. And of course, you want to roll out of bed and jump up and say, I can do it again. But then you have to put the training in. You have to put like that focus, that mentality that you have while you're playing football. In a year, I don't think you could lose it.
So I guess the biggest difference for me in Gronk, and let's go with Le'Veon since this was the most recent. Le'Veon wasn't injured, right? That whole thing was about money. Gronk, to me, like I think of like Build-A-Bear. Like I feel like every time I see him, he's got a different thing.
Yeah, a mechanical device. You look at Gronk.
He's been beat down.
I know. So a year off could actually help. The only thing is knowing who Gronk is as a person and his personality. Knowing Gronk is the captain of the cruise and he's gonna go out and party and have a good time. It makes me wonder, like, will he be in shape in a year to come back and return?
So this will be the other thing I would ask you. He also has had, a 9-year career?
9
and
years.
been very successful. 9 years, the average NFL career is what, like 4, if that?
Well, yeah, I think the average NFL career is like 2.5 years, 3 years. I think, but he's played 9 years at a high level. And you got to think early on, Hernandez was the guy.
Yep.
Hernandez was the guy, and he was a blocker. He was on the backside. So the abuse that he's taking, and he's taking some hits, but he's always gotten up and continued. And, you got Brady as a quarterback. It's great. But all of a sudden, when your body is tired and your body is beat up, you need that break. So I don't blame Gronk. And as he said, like, I don't want to just sit out knowing I got to come back in the season because they had that in place. When I read the article, it said, well, we had a situation in place where he could sit out, miss training camp, and come back during the season. But, like, your body just don't respond. So taking that year off, the other thing is, I'm not sure what Gronk family situation is. When you miss a year of football, and if you got kids and you get used to being a dad, like doing the small things that you realize matter and you've been missing out on, that's the hardest thing to come back from. When you start picking up kids from school and you're involved in their little daily and you're coaching the basketball team, stuff like that, it's hard to go back to just playing football when you know what you're missing out on.
So I agree with you, and I don't know about if he has kids or not either, but I don't think he's coming back just because when you look at Gronk, his enthusiasm for life in general, and then you hear him talk about how he survived off of his endorsements and hasn't even touched his money, he's going to be incredibly endorsable. Like, I see him in, like, the WWE or something. I see him taking the same enthusiasm and attacking life minus football.
Well, it's great. I think it's great for Gronk. He had a great career. Hall of Fame. First ballot?
I think so. I mean, it would be unprecedented. I get it. But I think you don't need to make something long and drawn out. If you do the good work in a short amount of time, like, you get the nod.
I agree. He got enough rings. I think his statement being made, it was saying like, oh, he doesn't have the numbers of Tony Gonzalez or Shannon Sharp or, some of the great receivers in the NFL. And you thinking, man, Gronk, it seems like he's been around forever with what he's been doing because the Patriots have always went through the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. So, hell of a career.
Absolutely.
Hell of a career, and congratulations.
Patriots fill that hole easily. It's not that simple.
Yeah, it's two kids coming out from Iowa. They're definitely going to get one of these tight ends.
They're not, but I'm saying they're obviously not Gronk. Like, how long before they have the next Gronk? Because
Well,
usually
you
it's plug
gotta
and play.
think-
I don't feel like he's a plug and play kind of guy in that system. Like, Gronk is very special.
Well, I think Gronk is very special due to the plays that he made. But when you're going into this draft and you're thinking it's tight ends in this draft and it's playmakers in this draft, I think they plug someone else in. Okay. That's just that system. The only person that I don't think you can replace is Brady.
Tom Brady, yeah.
That's the only person that I don't think you can just replace in that system.
Okay, we gonna see. Extreme opportunity to win millions of dollars ahead. The Extreme Millions Scratcher could get you $10 million without you having to do anything extreme at all. The game has a $10 million top prize, a $1 million second prize, and an over $256 million in total prizes in the entire game. All you have to do is head to your local lottery retailer. This game will make even the dullest winter day sparkle. You have 30 chances to win per ticket, and there are multipliers in the game too. If you have a non-winning ticket, you can enter it into the final second chance drawing in April for a $1 million prize. Don't spend the day staring out your window or leafing through magazines you've read 1,000,000 times. Shouldn't you check out Extreme Millions? That's an extremely easy question to answer.
Are uninvited pests ruining your plans? Let PMSI, the pest control partner of the Washington Redskins, handle it for you. Call today for your free inspection, and they'll work around your schedule to provide you the best solution possible to defend your home territory against pests of all kinds, including mold. Visit mypmsi.com for the game plan to control the pests on your home turf. That's mypmsi.com.
This is Rick Goslin with the Talk of Fame Network. This NFL season, FanDuel has more ways to win than ever before. New Beat the Score contests pay out everyone who hits a certain score. Now it's easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head fantasy contests for cash or bragging rights. New players, try FanDuel today and get a $20 bonus when you make your first deposit. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/Rick.
New users only. Bonus not available for withdrawal. State and age restrictions apply. For eligibility rules, terms, and conditions, go to FanDuel.com.
John Riggins here with a little tip. If you need a mortgage, take my advice and use the pros at McLean Mortgage. Buying a home can be stressful and filled with hassles. The experts at McLean Mortgage understand what an important financial investment your home is and will seamlessly guide you through the process to successful home ownership. Smooth, amazing, easy, professional, and first rate are just some of the reviews from their tens of thousands of homeowners, including me. I trust McLean Mortgage, and I hope you will too. Check them out at McLeanMortgage.com.
Hail to the Redskins this year with gear from the official Redskins team store. From Nike player and personalized jerseys to a great selection of new era hats, the Redskins team store has you covered. Plus, we have an amazing variety of youth and ladies apparel and everything you need to throw the perfect tailgate party. And we have signs, flags, and collectibles for the perfect Redskins man cave. So hail to the Redskins in style at any of our 4 Redskins team stores or online anytime at RedskinsTeamStore.com.
If you have atrial fibrillation, you know it can be difficult to treat successfully. Inova Heart and Vascular Institute in Fairfax is a leader in AFib treatment using specialized technology and expertise. This helps to more precisely target and treat rhythm irregularities that others could miss, helping to restore your heartbeat to normal. Give your heart the benefit of care. Visit InovaHeart.org/AFib to learn more and to find an Inova physician. Inova. Join the future of health.
Have you been fumbling on your diet during tailgate season? Well, it's a new day for a new game, and White House Foods has the solution for you. With the vinegar beverage of choice, Detox. Packed with lemon, honey, cinnamon, and apple cider vinegar, this organic, non-GMO verified product is the play you need to get your head back in the game. From our orchard fields to your football field, White House.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clinton Portis, though. They say that boy, they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something.
Teach him something.
Teach him something.
Speaking of entering into drawings, there's one perfect bracket left. in this drawing called March Madness.
Is there really
only one perfect bracket left? Now, how this person decides these teams to pick and everything else was spectacular. But on my bracket, some of the teams that no one picked Irvine or Oregon to go as far as they're going. But out of these 16 teams that's left, I have 14 of those teams.
Check you out.
Yeah, I got 14 or maybe 13 of those teams. So the teams that I don't have, of course, is Oregon. I don't have Oregon. I don't have
Oregon definitely was a surprise. Texas Tech.
Oh, I got Texas Tech.
You got Texas Tech?
Yeah, I have Texas Tech. So it's Oregon and maybe Purdue.
Okay, I can see that.
No, I had Purdue beating Villanova. I'm going to look at my sheet, but I had Purdue beating Villanova.
Look at you, basketball guy.
Yeah.
I didn't fill out a bracket. I just filled it in as it goes.
Well, I mean, that's
Auburn.
good.
You had Auburn in the Sweet 16?
I had Auburn move. I don't think, maybe that's the other team that I didn't have was Auburn going to the Sweet 16. But I got Florida State. I had Florida State. I got Florida State going to the final.
That's not a surprise. Florida State gets there.
It is. You see who Florida State getting ready to play?
They're going to lose.
To Gonzaga?
Yes.
You think Florida State going to lose?
Yes. They're going to lose to Gonzaga. I don't trust Florida State. Every year we get Florida State, they have these incredible athletes. Terrence Mann is phenomenal. Leonard Hamilton is a great mind. He doesn't age. He still looks the same age on the sideline from like 10 years ago. They get down in late game situations, they're trash.
You know what? You know who I think Florida State is trash against? The bigger teams, especially when they're not at home. Florida State on the road, like, just disappear. When they play Duke on the road, you're like, what? But Florida State played Duke at home, they beat them.
Well,
Florida
guess
State,
what?
they're not at home. Boom. They're at a neutral site. But Duke shouldn't even be there. Central Florida should actually be there. And
it crushed my soul.
When you look at these teams, like the 16 teams that's left, the teams that you're excited about would be who?
So Houston has been my dark horse.
I had Houston.
Houston is a team I've got to get into the Final Four. I'm most excited about them because I think they have been overlooked. They're the one team out of the American Athletic Conference. Otherwise, I think the statement on the Sweet 16 would be maybe the arrival of the SEC. They've got 4 teams in. The ACC has 5 teams in. But I've got Gonzaga winning it all, I think.
Well, no, Gonzaga is
what?
Not gonna win it.
Who's winning it all then,
North
CP?
Carolina.
I'll take that.
North Carolina. That boy Kobe White is...
He has beautiful hair.
Man, Kobe White is a grown man. And he looks like he's like 17 years old. He's just running and having fun. So he controls the game.
If UNC and Houston both win, Kobe White versus Corey Davis, the guard for Houston, is going to be one to watch.
I don't think Houston. See, that's where May comes into play. I don't think Houston have enough to beat UNC. Now, if Houston doesn't run it, Kentucky don't have any shooters. They're going to shoot. They're going to blow Kentucky out.
Okay, I like that.
I don't think P.J. Washington is going to play.
I don't think so either.
So, with that being said, you look at these teams, you look at the situation, and Duke, I don't think Duke is going to last much longer.
I think Duke could lose to Virginia Tech. Like, on Friday, it could go down. Virginia Tech beat them in the regular season.
That game is in D.C.
I'm going to be there. You coming?
That game is in D.C.
I don't think Duke is going to lose this weekend. Whether it's Virginia Tech or Michigan State, they're going to lose. They're not getting to the Final Four. They can't shoot. They've been exposed. Now, granted, everybody doesn't have a 7'6" kid in the middle to just clog up the paint.
Yeah, but you just need a rim protector. I don't know why you haven't forced Duke and Kentucky. Like, these teams just have great athletes. They don't have pure shooters. Why not just force, I'm going to clog up the middle of the paint and make you beat me with either mid-range or threes, because I know you can't do that. Whereas Houston on the other end, you can't clog up the paint on Houston. Their spacing is great. They're great on the defensive side of the ball. So it's just a matter of how do you play this team? How do you attack?
The other part of it, though, is I think people can't necessarily just execute that game plan against Duke because they capitalize on your mistakes. Like the beauty about the matchup with UCF, to me,
it made mistakes with a minute left.
Okay, until that point, Aubrey Dawkins was fantastic, and they had largely controlled their unforced errors and did not allow Duke to capitalize. That's when Zion and RJ, that's when we get the picture that everybody was going crazy about over the weekend. That was off a turnover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you control your own errors, but I think other teams, they get a little bit too rushed against Duke, and then you play into their hand.
But you didn't have to rush. Like, you didn't, for Dawkins, who was playing lights out, and even when you look at Fall, when he goes out of the game, now they don't have a rim protector, and of course they lose the game on the layup off a missed free throw. If he's in the game, it's totally different. But with 1 minute left, you're up, and you can't miss free throws or
layups.
Free throws and layups have become harder to make. Like, people, I look at Russell Westbrook. It's my favorite player. But his free throw percentage is worse than mine would be if I was in the NBA. Now, Russell Westbrook takes a pounding. I understand that. Getting to the rim, recovering. But you're shooting a free throw. He shot 50%.
I got you.
Like,
I didn't know he shot that bad from the line.
Man, he's shooting under 70% for the season right now.
As a guard? Come on, man.
As a point guard, as a scorer. But this is what I wanted to have the conversation about. Now, we've seen some excitement in March Madness. You got Zion, who's still going. You got some kids, Kobe White, who I think is going to be a great point guard in the NBA. Ja Morant, right? You got the first pick in the NBA draft. You're taking who?
You got to take Zion.
Why?
Marketability.
So you don't think Ja Morant will be marketable?
Ja Morant is going to be very marketable, but going to be versus already is.
I think Ja Morant already is marketable. The difference is the legend of Zion. The exploding shoe market will get everybody for an entire year. I got to see this kid play. Like, that's the excitement for me to say I want to go to the game on Friday and Sunday is to see Zion. Like, you know how people want that, oh, I saw LeBron play in high school. Like, oh, you know what? That one year I seen Zion play.
I got you. I think it's not, I don't know, CP. I actually kind of think that one is pretty cut and dry.
So it would be cut and dry for any team or if it's the Knicks. So
that's the question.
If the Phoenix Suns get the first pick in the draft and the Phoenix Suns just they have Booker and they need a point guard, then do you just go get Zion to fill in, or do you go fill your need?
So if it's the Knicks, it's Zion, hands down. Wow, that's a good. I think the Phoenix would need to go Ja. I would think.
So my point is, where the NBA is not like the NFL, and you don't just say the worst team gets the first pick. It's some balls is going to pop up and determine your draft order. If it's not to the New York Knicks, then other teams don't really need Zion.
Okay, but the bottom feeders right now are the Knicks, the Cavs, Phoenix. Who else? Atlanta. No. Atlanta's actually making a push.
Feeder.
Are they going to be in a lottery?
Yeah, but they're
Charlotte probably be in a lottery.
No, Charlotte's going to make the playoffs.
Right. Who else is in the East? I know Cleveland and the Knicks are in the bottom.
So that's far enough. Dallas. You got to look at Dallas, too.
They won't get a lottery pick, will they? Did they trade into one? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, why you think they traded everybody and sacrificed it? Now, picture Dallas Mavericks getting Zion. Picture that. You got Luka, Zion.
That's not gonna happen, but I got you.
Kristaps. Why couldn't it happen?
That's not gonna happen.
They got just the greatest chance as anyone else.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. No. The only conversation is if Phoenix gets the first pick, do they take Ja or Zion?
So,
which I think you make a very good point.
Okay, well, another point that I need to make before we exit is, for the first time in a long time, LeBron James won't make the playoffs. Is that a big deal or not?
For me, it's not. Every career has its arc, right? Even if you wanted just to be injuries, and this year, that groin injury lingered. There was a post on Instagram from his physical therapist that suggested he should have been out far longer than he was. To me, it's not that big of a deal right now. jump back to our earlier conversation, NFL guys retiring, taking a year off. Maybe this is good that Bron's not playing deep into the playoffs so he can rest up and be prepared for what's to come with the Lakers. Now, if this becomes a thing, we got a problem. Year one, I don't think it's a big deal, especially considering all that was swirling around them this year.
All right, MVP debate right now.
I'm still taking Giannis.
It's impossible. James Harden. What James
It's close.
Harden, listen, Giannis is a great player. He's almost there, right? And early on, I think because Milwaukee being first or second place, everyone was excited. Now when you watch Milwaukee, you can tell they're kind of tired. It's, I just don't see Giannis as dominant as he was earlier in the year. Whereas Harden, they weren't going to make the playoffs. And all of a sudden, it's like, you know what, Harden, you take over. And this man put the Rockets, like, they're back as a 3 seed now, not far off from the second seed when they weren't going to make the playoffs. And you know that Harden is going to beat you. Like, that's what's crazy. You know Harden is going to beat you and how he's going to beat you, and you still can't stop it.
It's very true.
So that's MVP.
It's tough. It's tough. I think I'm still leaning toward Giannis because, to me, the ability to pick up a player and just drop them in any other organization and their skills still apply and not really disrupt matters to me. I don't think that everybody could get away with having Harden on his team. Their system is predicated on him having the ball.
I'll tell you what's tough is the fact that maybe next year I don't have you on 26.
We're not there
yet. For now,
yet.
episode 30 is in the books. Thanks for joining us.